R09. Ultimate Villain Showdown.
Hey guys, welcome back to R09 Studios. I'm here with Justin.
What's up?
And we're here today. We're gonna get to our new exciting project we got for you called the Ultimate Villain Showdown. We're gonna be talking a whole bunch about all the different movie villains that we know, that we love to hate.
Yep.
And we're gonna see which one comes out on top. So Justin, tell us about our bracket a little bit.
So we decided in this to stay strictly with movie villains. Some of them have some cross-play into books and other things, but we're kind of just focused on the movie side of it.
That's right.
We also decided that we were going to stay away from horror movies.
Yep.
Horror movies, easy to grab villains, you know, Freddy Krueger, Jaws, Jason, Chucky,
yep.
Pennywise, whatever. But we wanted to stay out of that. We may come back to that maybe next October.
Yeah,
might be a good time to come back to
Halloween,
them.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to go ultimate movie villains from other sort of genres of movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Action movies, suspense movies,
Fantasy movies,
just regular movies,
Yep.
comedies. But we're going to kind of focus on that kind of villain. So we have two sides of our bracket, 8 villains on each side. So we're going to kind of figure it out. If you understand how brackets work, you know, it's 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 4 versus 5, 3 versus 6, and it narrows down till we get our ultimate winner.
That's right. And you're going to see today we're going to show you where our villains lie in our seating. If you have any comments on those seatings, please make sure that you let us know what you think in the comments. But before we get to that, we are going to show you where our villains lie in this bracket today. So Justin, let's start with our number 1 seeds. I think that's the way to go.
All right.
We got 2 number 1 seeds, and this was a tough decision.
It was.
It was very tough, but
I
I think we landed on the right ones. We'll see though. I mean, your comments are gonna hopefully tell us that, and as they progress through the rounds, we'll see if they actually make it through as a 1 seed.
That's right.
Our first number 1 seed is Palpatine.
All right.
We couldn't ignore the big baddie from Star Wars. This was a debate: where do we put Vader? Where do we put Palpatine? But we ultimately settled on
Palpatine.
He's the man.
He's the puppet master of everything.
So with everything that goes into his character, we put him at number 1.
Yep.
Next one, both of our favorite villains of all time, and from a different thing than Star Wars. I mean, it's different, but it's just a classic villain. Whatever version of this villain you want to look at, that's still
up to you.
Yeah, it's still a classic version.
Right.
And that's the Joker.
So the way we kind of thought of it is we're not going to focus on just one actor's portrayal of some of these characters.
That's right.
Some of these characters, some of these villains we came up with have been in 3 or 4 different iterations of the movie. So when we talk about the Joker, we're talking about the Joker through all the different movies.
Yeah.
You know, back from Jack to Heath Ledger to Jared Leto to I can't think of his name all of a sudden. I'm drawing a blank.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, thank you. I drawing a blank there. So we're talking about all of that combined. The Joker's just such an ultimate villain that
such a great villain.
We ended up having to go 1 seed with him.
Yeah. So those are 1 seeds on both sides of the bracket. Now this is where this has started getting tough.
Yes.
It started really getting tough.
Yes.
So let's look at those number 2 seeds, and those number 2 seeds are going to go down at the bottom of the bracket. This next one is, some of you know out there, my favorite series, Harry Potter. So we had to go with Lord Voldemort.
Yes.
And even though you all might be thinking, hey, he got beat by a high schooler, but it doesn't. There's so much that goes into Voldemort. And it's just absolutely brilliant.
He's such an evil guy.
Yeah, and he is. I mean, you're talking evil. This guy is incapable of love.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Evil.
Had to go high seed with him there.
That's right. All right, and the next one, we already mentioned his name. We
Right.
can't go any further
Right.
without saying it. We got Vader.
Right? We know how iconic Vader is, from his look to the simple sound of him breathing. You know Vader when Vader's on screen.
That's it. You know him.
Or when he's coming, you know.
That's right. All right, that brings us to the three
Three
seed. The
seeds.
3 seed. Okay. You are a much bigger fan of the Marvel universe than I am at this point.
Yes.
But I know just as well as you do this villain needed to be up there, and he needed to be high.
Yep.
And that's Thanos.
Yep. So Thanos, of course, being kind of the guy in charge of everything we got with the Marvel universe
Yep.
in play from the beginning. He kind of had to be up there. So it was part of our debate. How high does he go?
Yep.
You know, he was only really in those 2 movies. He's maybe not as iconic as the rest that are up there, but he's such a big villain
You had to.
in one of the biggest movie franchises in the world.
Yep,
So
that's right.
he had to get up there.
And this next villain is another one of those that hasn't been featured much
Mhm.
in movies.
Right.
But if you know this world, you know that this villain may in the end be more significant than Voldemort.
Yeah.
And just because of the way he manipulates people.
It's true.
And his style of villainy is completely different.
It is.
And that's Gellert Grindelwald.
Yeah, he's a very. I think we'll probably get some polarizing opinions on placing him at a 3 seed.
Yeah.
And it was one of those we kicked around a little bit,
I
but
know.
he is, and I think he's going to be such a obvious big villain, big piece of this Fantastic Beasts series that we're getting.
Yep, that's
so
right. That's right.
we had to make sure he got involved.
That's right. All right, next one, we're kind of changing gears here. This is one, this villain, we, just the 3 of us all the time will look at each other, and every once in a while, just out of the blue, just say, "Hello, Clarice." And it's just such a classic
And you
villain.
should know just from that
Just
who
from
we're
that.
talking about.
And we're talking about Hannibal Lecter.
That's right. Such a classic villain, and so different, really, than everybody else up here at the moment.
Oh,
I
and
mean,
Anthony
he has-
Hopkins as, oh my gosh.
Right, and he's not somebody with powers. He's not somebody
Yeah.
that's causing like the same havoc, say the Joker is, or in that cartoony world. He's a much more real character, but he's so manipulative.
I
and
can't even
evil.
look at Anthony Hopkins without thinking Hannibal
Right,
Lecter.
right. That's how iconic he is.
Yeah.
So had to be on our list.
All right, next one, the other 4 seed. The other 4 seed is going to be, this one is interesting too because you really never see this character, only at the beginning of the series.
Mhm.
But the main plot of this series, one of my favorite series ever, you don't see him.
That's true.
But
Very true.
But his presence
It's felt.
is felt throughout the movie, and
Absolutely.
that is Sauron from The Lord of the Rings. So such a different kind of villain again, but just the idea of Sauron strikes fear into every single character.
In that
Yep.
series, absolutely.
So that was another one we've looked at.
Yep.
All right, staying along those lines, we're right in the midst of the Lord of the Rings series. A more visible character in the Lord of the Rings series that is an evil villain is Saruman.
Yep.
So Saruman is one of our 5 seeds on this side of the bracket.
And the much more visible of the villains in the movie.
Yeah,
So
that's going to be an interesting look, seeing Hannibal Lecter versus
Saruman. Yeah.
So now we're starting to see what the matchups are going to look like. So
Right.
our first matchup on this side that we have revealed is Hannibal Lecter versus Saruman. So we'll see.
should
how
be
that
an
goes.
interesting debate. And
Yeah,
see
it should.
who pulls out ahead on that one.
All right, the other 5 seed going against Sauron. Yeah. Now we have Magneto. Oh, that is going to be such a hard decision there with everything that Magneto represents and what he can do.
Right. He's one of those that he is a classic, iconic villain.
Yep.
In especially for those who were new into superhero movies in the 90s. The X-Men was X-Men 1, X2, X3 was kind of the first time that those superhero movies really took on a life of their own as a trilogy. We'd never seen that before. And he was undoubtedly the villain in those.
And Sir Ian McKellen, I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Come on.
And we know that, you know, the character changed with some of the newer ones, but he's still a villain a lot of the times. And just, it was one of those guys that we were like, all right, I think he holds a place in movie history and needs to be up there.
All right, going on to our 6th seed, we're taking you way back to 1939 on this one.
Yep.
Because this is a classic villain, and we can't do a Ultimate Villain Showdown without this classic villain.
Yep.
And that is the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz.
She's such a iconic villain. Like, you know, you see that green witch with the black hat, that cackle. You can hear, if you've ever seen the movie, you can hear that cackle in your head the moment you see a picture of her. So she's that, like, iconic, and she's that evil in that movie. So we had to get her in there. We had to go some classic in here with you.
That's right. So. Now throwing it back to the 90s here, we got another villain that, this is an interesting one because, yes, he is a villain, but he's also connected to a much broader, bigger villain. And you know what I mean when I reveal this. This is our next number 6 seed, and that is Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Absolutely. And this could be a very interesting matchup here. Grindelwald versus Agent Smith.
Yeah.
Agent Smith is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It
can be anybody and everybody.
Right.
You know, so that's a interesting thing.
He's really part of the Matrix, and that's controlling it, you know, so seemed kind of silly to put the Matrix up there as the villain.
So we put Agent Smith.
That's
right. All right, on to the number 7 seeds. We're getting now. Don't underestimate these number 7 seeds.
Right.
Okay, because they could be there depending on what matchups they get, and we're looking right now, and this is tough. This is gonna be really tough for this number 7 seed because they got Lord Voldemort.
Yep.
And that is General Zod from Superman.
Right. If you're a Superman person, you know who General Zod is, right? We've seen different versions of him in different movies.
Yep.
So he's just such a classic Superman villain. I mean, he's right up there, you know, with some of the other big bad guys, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, who wins out. Voldemort with his magic or Zod with his superpowers.
Yeah, it is an interesting matchup. All right, next one. This is another one that's completely different genre of movies. They're going against Vader. It's gonna be uphill climb.
Yeah.
To beat Vader.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this bad guy could even. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think.
Right.
And where it's at. But our other number 7 seed is the Terminator.
Right. Very, very different in who they are. And it is definitely an uphill climb, I think, to take on Vader.
Come on, man.
I mean, Terminator's classic. He's a classic guy. Classic villain, at least in the first movie. We know that it changes as the movies went.
Yeah.
But classic Terminator in the originals is a good bad guy.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll see what you guys think as we have our discussion, and then view your comments on this later.
Now the next one, I'm going to throw a little curveball at Justin here because I just saw something that we couldn't pass this up.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We can't pass this up.
All right.
So our next one on the list was going to go on this side.
Okay.
But we just can't pass this up because the irony in it. So he's going to go over here.
Okay.
And facing off against the Joker.
Okay.
Dr. Evil.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, this is our one comedy villain.
I see what you're saying.
One comedy villain going against the Joker.
Right.
I mean, come on, we had to do that.
We couldn't help but kind of dip into the comedy a little bit with Austin Powers. Dr. Evil was such a classic, like stereotyped Bond villain, but just hilarious.
Yeah. And he's an idiot.
And he's an idiot. We know that, but it was one of those. I think for that time period.
Oh.
You couldn't walk around without hearing Dr. Evil quotes.
Yeah.
So it was like, you gotta kind of add him to that list.
Yep.
So that is a little bit of a curveball because that changes things up a little bit.
It does a little bit.
Yep.
Our final one going up against Shreve Palpatine. This is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But this is a great villain and no powers.
No.
Just complete intellect and savvy.
Yep. Yep.
And that's Lex Luthor himself from Superman.
Yep. And it's gonna make it kind of interesting. That might actually flipping this little curveball is gonna give us a little bit different of a discussion for both of them. Because over here we get the Joker and Dr. Evil, who are both kind of crazy in their own sense.
Yeah, right.
And over here now we're gonna get this two guys who are so manipulative.
Yeah.
Like the Emperor and the guy who worms his way into being a president. Like,
I know.
So,
I know.
Well, yeah, originally we kind of had it flipped, but that might give us a better bracket than what we originally had.
Yeah.
So, some interesting ideas, and we're going to have some interesting conversations about this coming up at the start of March here.
Yeah, that's right. So we're really looking forward to getting started with this bracket. And just to recap it one more time, starting on this side of the bracket, we have the number 1 seed, Emperor Palpatine, versus the number 8 seed, Lex Luthor. Underneath that, we have the number 4 seed, Hannibal Lecter, versus the number 5 seed, Saruman from the Lord of the Rings. After that, we have number 3 seed, Thanos, versus number 5 seed, the Wicked Witch of the West. And at the bottom of this side of the bracket, we have the number 2 seed, Lord Voldemort, versus General Zod, the number 7 seed. On the other side of the bracket, we have the number 1 seed, the Joker, versus number 8 seed, Dr. Evil. We have the number 4 seed, Sauron, versus the number 5 seed, Magneto. Then we have the number 3 seed, Galette Grindelwald, versus number 6 seed, Agent Smith. And our final matchup in that first round is the number 2 seed, Darth Vader, versus number 7 seed, the Terminator. So we're really interested in hearing what you think about our board to start it out. Leave your comments below, like and share this video. Look forward to our individual videos on the matchups as we go through the month of March. Our own version of March Madness here. The Ultimate Villain Showdown. Like our page, share it with everybody, and comment and let us know what you think about this.
And we're going to need you to make sure you're staying up to date on it, because we're only going to have a short amount of time after that video is posted for you guys to vote. So we know who moves on, so we can hit that next video. Because like they say with basketball, when March Madness hits, it doesn't stop. We're not going to be able to slow this thing down.
That's right. And our votes, there's going to be 3 of us voting. So we can declare a winner between the 3 of us, but we want your votes to make sure we get that winner right.
Absolutely. So let us know what you think. Did we mess this up or not? And we'll see you back here real soon.
That's right.
For our actual brackets.
It's coming. This is R09 Studios signing off.
R09.